Sometimes when people ask me why I quit modeling, I just don't even know what to say because there's just not a short answer. Um, and usually my answer is just like, it just wasn't for me. Because it's easier than actually going in depth as to the real reasons why I actually quit modeling. And sometimes I feel a bit like pretentious when I talk about it as well. Um, because some of my reasons I can see how they might be interpreted as pretentious or a bit stuck up. But that's not my intention. That's never my intention. Um, for context, I was scouted when I was 15 years old, and then I got signed, and I was signed for about 7 years, and I worked for, I won't name drop, no, I'll name drop brands. I worked for like ASOS, Urban Outfitters, River Island, like things like that. Just mostly doing like e-commerce, kind of average stuff, whatever. Nothing crazy. I also wasn't like the most successful model, so I can't really say that I had like the most success with it. So like maybe that contributed to some of my feelings towards it. But essentially it boils down to modeling did not make me feel good about myself. It made me feel a lot worse about myself. It made me feel really insecure. It made me just not confident in who I am. It made me so like self-conscious, self-aware. I had, eating disorders because of it. I was just not healthy, like mentally. There was that side of it, which obviously it's very appearance focused. It's almost solely focused on your appearance. And I come from a household, I was raised by parents who are like really spiritual, and appearance is not something that we've ever focused on. Like we've never even had money to like go and get nice clothes. So I've never been able to explore that side like growing up. So it was kind of just like being thrown into this alien world. So there was that. There's also, I remember just, I'd go on set and sometimes I just feel like what I was doing was so pointless. Like, I think that's probably a problem with e-commerce, doing e-commerce, because you just like you're in and out of outfits all day and that's just all you do. Like, it's so repetitive. It's just not fun, to be honest. And it's a lot of money. That's not a reason why I left, obviously, but it's a lot of money, which is great. And I think maybe that's why a lot of people stay. But it is obviously really, what's the word, temperamental. So you can sometimes have work, sometimes not. And then that can be really stressful if you need to pay bills or, anything like that. I sort of never really had to do that. But I would say the main sort of reason why I left is I just could not justify. This was around COVID time when in like the UK we would go and do this like clap for the NHS thing. So I live in a block of flats and there's like flats all around, and you'd go out at like whatever time it was, like 6 p.m. or something, and everybody would be like lining up on their flats, on their stairwells, and just like clapping for the NHS. And I think I just started to really think about and consider the fact that NHS doctors are so underpaid for what they do. And like that was around the time of all the strikes and things like that, or when the strikes came a bit later. Like I was just kind of thinking about it and I was like, this is just crazy because I earn hundreds of pounds a day, sometimes thousands, for contributing what to society. And I know that sounds like, I don't know, like a morally pretentious thing to say, but like it just made me think. Like I was like, wow, like people who are actually out here saving lives, like they're literally not earning anywhere near as much as they should be earning. Even if they're earning enough to like live a decent life, that's not proportional to what they go and do every single day. What they go and do every single day is, life-saving work, and that should be rewarded, proportionately. And in the modeling industry, you are rewarded very, very well for not doing anything that great. You don't need to be smart. You don't need to be supremely talented. You don't need to be witty. You know, there are obviously like, it's easier for everybody if you're like a nice and easy to get along with person, but at the end of the day, it's not essential. So you could just be anyone. And I've met some not great people doing modeling, and sometimes thinking about how well they live and how much money they earn, I do think to myself, like, it's kind of like, it's quite bad that our society is just rewarding you for being like a shitty person just because you look nice. Like, it's just absolutely insane. And yeah, I think one of the things, like, to sort of tell you a story about how bad modeling can actually make you feel, is I remember being like 16 or 17 once, going on set with this like makeup brand, and they had a nail artist and a nail assistant there, and the nail assistant, literally her sole job was to come in and to prep your nails, so to cut them, file them, buff them, or whatever. That was her job on set. She really didn't need to do anything more than that. And I went and sat down, and like, I wasn't mad, I wasn't like crazy chatty that day. I didn't really have anything to say to her, so I kind of just sat down and was like, oh, like, you know, hi, how are you, whatever kind of thing. And she just like looked at me, and she was like, almost like she was like analyzing my face, and I was like, what is this woman doing? And then, just completely unprovoked, she just said to me, she's like, you should really consider getting fillers, like under eye fillers. She's like, that would fix your dark circles, because you have really dark circles, and like, clearly you have really deep set eyes, and like, this would just solve that problem, and da da da, all this kind of stuff. And like, I was so taken aback. I was like, you're not even recommending like a concealer to me. You're recommending me to get like surgery, basically, to fix my face. And this is just like casual conversation for you, and you are like a 30-something-year-old woman, and I'm like 17. And also, you are literally the nail assistant. You have had no say in this shoot at all. You've had no say in which models are picked. You've had no say in anything. You're not even the makeup artist who is then going to have to go and cover up my dark circles. Like, the makeup artist isn't complaining. Why are you? Like, why are you saying anything? Obviously, at the time, I just felt awful about myself. I just felt so bad because I was 17 and I didn't know how to stand up for myself. And, you know, maybe I'm a bit soft, but like, it just really hurt me, because that was something that I was very self-conscious about it. That was something I was very self-conscious about. And yeah, it was just not a nice thing to hear randomly, like on set. And I think in the modeling industry as well, a lot of things like that are quite commonplace. So it's just quite common for people to just comment on your appearance and on other things that you literally can't control. I cannot control my genetics in that sense. That's just how I look. And I kind of realised as well, like, I, as a model, I don't even feel good about myself. I don't feel good. And these pictures and these, like, you know, the outputs, whatever they are, if they're like editorials or like campaigns or whatever, they're not designed to make the general public feel good about themselves. They're designed to make the general public feel bad about themselves, so that they then go and buy the product that's being advertised, because they think it will, you know, bring them closer to this standard. And I was just like, I think after a while, and when I really sort of like realized how badly it made me feel, I was like, I can't be part of this anymore. Because I know people as well who have really struggled with their appearance, and in a much worse way than I have. And they had no reason, like, you look at them, they have no reason to struggle with their appearance, but they do. And I think it's because of the impact and contribution of industries like the modelling industry and like the fashion industry, that are designed to make people feel bad about themselves. And it's just like, society is bad enough as it is. And also, money and capitalism and all of that stuff, all of the profits that you can gain from the fashion industry, overrated. So overrated. What's not overrated is genuine happiness and self-confidence and, just feeling yourself in your own skin. That's not overrated at all. That's a really wonderful feeling that we should try and cultivate in society rather than cultivating the opposite for the means of profit. Like, it's just absolutely wild. So yeah, when people ask me why did I leave the modelling industry, I don't really go into a whole tirade, but I think everybody's affected by this because as long as you live in modern society, you will have seen all of these adverts and all of these things, and when you actually just think or you look slightly deeper into that picture, it's not happiness at the end of the tunnel, is it? That's not what this is showing you. It's not. It's, those other models, they're probably not happy. They're not happy. I know a lot of them personally, and the ones I knew for sure, like, it didn't bring them happiness, didn't bring me happiness either. So yeah, just food for thought, really. And if you're a doctor, NHS doctor, you should be making bank. You should be compensated adequately for the work that you do, and that's just a fact. So yeah.